Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Forbes Travel Guide's President of Ratings, Amanda Frasier. Amanda, right now, as I sit in New York City, it is reaching 80 degrees today, which is a perfect reminder that summer is almost here and everyone needs to plan their summer vacation. So first, what are some travel trends you are seeing for summer 2023?
Yes, it is. I'm inside, but I do see it looks lovely outside today. The summer is definitely well on its way. Interest, I think, really continues around high quality experiences, so high adventure trips, and the demand in well-being and wellness travel is beyond a trend. Now, it's really how people want to travel. And I think as we sit back and think about those things, the common thread is that people just don't want to get away now. They're actually looking for some authenticity in their choice of destination or the hotel that they've chosen to stay at. And they want their trip to help them achieve more than just time away from the office now. They want to restore and really get their arms around some mental detox.
That sounds great because I know people have said before, when they get back from vacation, I need a vacation from my vacation. So that it's a good thing that there's this focus on wellness. And obviously travel rather has drastically changed in the past 3 years. I was telling you earlier, I had gotten my passport for the first time right before the pandemic in March of 2020, and I wasn't able to stamp it for 3 years. But how is summer travel this year different than the past three?
Yeah, that's a really great question because there has been a big shift. I think, there's definitely a greater number, obviously, of US travelers traveling and spreading their wings more and like yourself, dusting off their passports if they weren't as organized as you were a few years ago, and really putting a lot of deeper thought into their planning. So I think, maybe during the pandemic, especially for those that could travel and in the immediate years coming out of it, it was, just get out and go anywhere. But now travelers are being a lot more mindful about their choices, engaging in the expertise of a trusted travel advisor, doing a lot more research. So as I said, it's really a change from a get out and go anywhere just so I can get away to, okay, where do I really want to invest my time and my money and my family's time?
I'm really interested to know what Forbes Travel Guide is saying about Memorial Day. As we know, Memorial Day just a few weeks away. It's the unofficial kickoff to the summer. So what do you suggest people do on the long weekend?
Whether it's a long weekend or you kind of make it a whole week, right? We're seeing what we're actually seeing is a lot more really great collaborations, culinary collaborations with great chefs this coming holidays. So we all love to eat, right? The Rosewood Mayakovia is working on a really unique collaboration actually with Chef Rick Bayless and some other Midwestern chefs and mixologists, and they're actually producing something they're calling a taste of Chicago in the Riviera Maya. So there's a combination that's very unique, a great experience. But it's not Memorial Day, obviously, without barbecue. So if you can make it a week and you want to travel a little bit further, the Four Seasons Lanai is actually partnering with celebrity chef Jack Arnold from the Big Green Egg, and they're doing a fabulous barbecue destination-centric menu. I think Kahlua pork is on the menu, some wood-fired pizzas. So that's another great experience to look into as well.
And just overall this summer, what are the hottest destinations you're seeing people planning to go to or going to already?
You mentioned about here close to Atlanta getting to 80 degrees. Just down the road is Charleston. I say just down the road, it's definitely drivable. But that's gaining more and more tourism traction. And we just actually saw an announcement that our Four Seasons will be coming to Charleston soon. So it's a beautiful city, very walkable, just obviously so pretty. And actually, as I mentioned, drivable not only from here in Atlanta, but from most places around the Southeast. And then obviously after spending a few days in Charleston, you're actually close enough in that city to be near the coast. And there's some classic US resorts. There's the Sanctuary at Kiowa Island. So you can spend a few days in the city and then kind of get to the beach and some real R&R. And the Sanctuary at Kiowa is actually one of our triple 5-star winning hotels. If you want to go abroad and you really want to travel a little bit further, obviously, and I'm not biased here, but London is looking fabulous after the King's coronation. There's some fantastic hotels, I think, in parts of the city that many people might not typically consider. So as an example, the Pan Pacific London is on the eastern edge of the city. It's closer to an area known as the East End. and probably closer to some of the attractions in London that could be less crowded, like the Jack the Ripper Museum, if you're into that sort of history. But also that hotel's like right on top of Liverpool Street Station, so you're very, very close to central London. I know my personal favorite attraction in central London is the Churchill War museums, but those are some great places that I'm actually getting a lot of questions about as well.
Like I said, I got my passport right before the pandemic because I wanted to go on a European adventure for the first time. I had never been abroad. So you said that people are now investing more in travel this year than in the years past, obviously. So let's say you want to live out that investment, that European dream vacation. Where else aside from London should you go?
There are really great places to get some, that culture fix that everyone seeks when they travel as well. Obviously, Paris and Rome are classics. You can't really go wrong. But, a city that has a lot of attention that I think not everyone has been to in the same way that they think about Paris and Rome is Istanbul. So it's a city not to be missed. The Turkish culture, the people, it's just a really wonderful place to visit if you haven't been. Has an amazing airport. If you're ever going to be stuck during the summer delays that we can all experience, that would be one airport that I would not ever be sad to spend a few extra hours in. But definitely don't miss Istanbul. The Surigin Palace is a great base to explore the city from. It's got obviously fabulous views over the Bosphorus there. But then head down to Bodrum. We covered Bodrum more recently for our announcements earlier this year. We've got some really special newer hotels. There's an Addition in Bodrum and a Mandarin Oriental as well, which is actually another one of our newer 5-star hotels. So if you're looking for some city combined with some investment in yourself and a little bit of a more relaxing getaway, then that's a great dual option as well.
I like that. I like that you named the classic as well as an up and coming, maybe one that wouldn't be on your radar. What about people who maybe want more of those up and coming destinations? Where would you suggest they go?
We're seeing a lot of attention on India. I know that India had some record growth last year and it's forecasted for even greater growth in 2023. And while we don't cover it extensively, it is on our radar because we know the attention on India has, become exponentially greater in recent months as we've come out of the pandemic. So that is a hot destination on our radar, in the coming months as well. But then also consider, obviously we've all heard or either been to Lisbon, Portugal, but think about some of the destinations on the coast in Portugal, and then the tiny but such beautiful island of Madeira, which actually has a Belmont there. I think it's Reed's Palace is a Belmont, and it's a beautiful island. It's obviously known for its wine, so you can get some real immersion in the Portuguese food and wine experience there, and actually has great hiking. Just don't do the two at the same time.
I definitely would love to plan a trip there, but maybe something more kid friendly. Obviously, the kids are off for the summer. Where would you suggest, let's say a family's planning a trip, where would you suggest they go?
With kids, you want to obviously try to go somewhere where getting there isn't as cumbersome, even if it's fabulous when you land, especially with the younger children. I think somewhere that is always easy to get to is Florida. And with Memorial Day obviously being the start of the summer, families I think do tend to plan their main holiday around this time, the ones where you do travel as a family. And there are many hotels that are just offering fabulous, really unique amenities that children and families can enjoy. But one that kind of sticks out in my mind that I saw recently is that the Boca Raton Resort, obviously in Boca, they have this fabulous harborside pool club facility. They've got several hotels at the resort that you can choose from, depending on how you're traveling. But if you are bringing the children, they have this 40-foot flow rider, so you can actually learn to surf. So you do not have to put your children on an extensive flight to Hawaii or Cornwall these days to learn to surf. You can do it right down in Boca. And I guess if you are thinking of going overseas, if you do have maybe older children or an older family, obviously Europe is always popular for the American travelers, and a destination actually that we're really focusing on. We've launched it on our list for a number of years now, but paying more attention to Japan. It's really coming up top of a lot of travel plans right now. And naturally, Tokyo is a great city to visit. But if the beach and some R&R, like I said before, is really in your summer travel plans, then you really need to make a trip to Okinawa. There's the Halekulani resort there, which obviously I think every room literally has a view of the East China Sea there, and it has a fabulous spa as well.
That sounds incredible. Something that stuck out to me that you said is that Boca trip, because it combines two of my favorite things when I'm looking for a vacation, the beach and an experience. So if you're like me, you're looking for more experience focused vacations, where would you go?
I think if you're really looking for an experience, at this point, you really have to consider, have you been on a safari? If you have not, then I think this is a great time to do that. As I said at the top of the interview, like high adventure. This is not just a soft nature experience. So the one and only has a fabulous hotel in Rwanda called the Gorillas Nest. Rwanda's in our sights for this year. Our evaluators are in the process of covering that destination right now. So those are really some great things to consider as you look at more adventure trips.
The safari's definitely on my bucket list, but you said at the top of the interview that wellness is a theme that you are seeing in 2023 that people are really focused on. There's this commitment to wellness. If you want to take a trip where wellness is at top of mind, where would you suggest people go?
You can invest in this sort of trip and go to a far-flung destination, but if you're still kind of dipping your toes in the water and really just trying to see what there is out there that can really enhance your sense of well-being while you're traveling, there's things on everyone's doorstep. I not necessarily talk about Florida again, but the Caribbean Miami actually does a fabulous suite of touchless services, from self-guided meditation pods, and obviously you're on the beach anyway, which is always a great place to kind of enhance your well-being. But what they have done is that they have ensured that your journey around well-being doesn't just stop in their spa. Their beds in their rooms actually teach you to sleep better, and the air purifiers that are in the room help you breathe better. So it's really an all-round great place that's really vested in your well-being, and we're seeing a lot of brands do that as well. But if you are, looking for a much more immersive experience, Aman is a brand that does a really great job with wellness. They really focus in on the mind and the body. And again, there you can dip your toe in the water and maybe just do one or two rituals. But if you're looking for a full well-being immersion, then the Aman Puri, which is actually in Phuket in Thailand, has its own holistic wellness center. So you can kind of have a complete journey around that for your entire trip. And Phuket is also another destination that we're focusing on for 2023. So we're excited to get back there.
Can you explain why wellness is top of mind for people now? Is it because of the pandemic? Is it because people really want, when they're on vacation, to enjoy themselves and de-stress? What is the reasoning here?
I think really what this is about is people are being a lot more mindful about what's important to them. As they came out of the pandemic years, we were all hyper-focused during that time on our health. And that is not a trend or a phase that's going away. It's now something that people realize is really a big, important part of their life. So I think really when you travel, you want to feel well. When you leave, you don't want to feel, as we were talking about before, that you need a vacation from your vacation. We have less time. I think the importance of time with your family is emphasized now, even more so than ever before. And therefore, doing things that make you feel well. Beyond traditional spa treatments, I'm really talking about what you eat, what you breathe, what you see, what you do, the quality of time that you have with those that you travel with, even if it's with yourself. That is all definitely something that people are really vested in now and are actually making decisions around how they travel based on those commitments from a hotel.
Overall, we're going to be seeing more travelers than ever in the past few years this summer. So what's your one piece of advice for jet setters in 2023?
Book now. Oh my goodness, demand is high, right? And we don't see that softening. The difference between the high demand we saw during the pandemic domestically here is that it's much more evenly spread globally now. Obviously, China and Asia in general is back open, so that's got a lot of pickup, which is great. But to your point as well, you know, US passport, I was just checking this morning, US passport renewal times are 10 to 13 weeks right now, 7 if you expedite. So if you haven't got your passport, renew it now and maybe book for 2024.
Good advice. Amanda Frasier, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.